Hey, hey.
Hi. Hey.
How you
How are
doing?
you?
Good.
Um,
It's like the new welcome
Great
thing.
intro.
Here comes in.
Yeah, I love it.
Hey, John. Hey, Pete. Here comes Ing.
Hey, ladies. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Ing.
Hey, Ing, how are you?
You don't want to know, Claire. You don't know. I'm
Oh,
doing fine. I'm doing just fine. I'm great.
good. You're doing better now you're here.
Hey, how can you spend a Friday night better than being on a panel with one of the two finest ladies I ever met? And I'm German. I don't do compliments. I only state facts. But I won't jump ahead.
So he
Oh,
says.
Ing, he's coming in with rules. Love it.
No. Yeah, I learned that from Chrissy.
So he says.
Shout out to the chat too.
Yeah. Shout out to the chat.
Yes, I don't know
Lovely.
Pete, but hello, Pete.
No,
He
Pete.
doesn't do compliments here. He's always very mean to me. Hey,
Oh, that's
there's
Pete.
friend. Hi. Hey,
Tag!
gal.
Hey, Tag! Thanks for coming, mate. That's my friend in the chat.
Yeah, I got him.
Yay, welcome, mate.
Welcome.
Thanks for being here.
Nice of you to join us. So,
You gotta
guys,
check out his channel. Someone's gonna link his channel. It's so good.
well, you can just put it in the chat.
I'm fangirling right now.
You have what?
I said I'm fangirling right now. No, I'm joking.
Here, I got it.
Yep.
Cuban, you made it.
Hi, Cuban.
Okay, that's you called him Take. Is that what we're calling him? Take.
Yeah.
That's his channel right there.
Thanks, Chrissy.
You're welcome.
He knows John.
He knows John. John's a good
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah,
All
John's
right.
great.
Okay, we got the hellos out the way. So, you ready for tonight?
I'm pumped. I'm excited. I don't know if I'm happy that we're back in Australia. I wanted to flog Canada again, but anyways.
Ing's ready. Aren't you, Ing?
You ready, Ing?
I am. Let me just plug the stream. I'll be right back on Discord.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, get people in here. I'm going to show this real quick. This video contains some content that some may find disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Just so you guys know, there might be some triggers in here for some people. I know there was for me. It took me a long time to get this research done. A lot of triggers. So, gosh, where to start? Sharpe. John Myles Sharpe is this guy's name. And yes, he's in Canada. He's from, I'm sorry,
Australia.
Canada. So you got me saying Canada. He's from Australia. Melbourne, Australia, to be exact, in a suburb called Mornington, which is where he
Beautiful
got.
upmarket suburb.
I'm sorry?
It's a beautiful upmarket suburb. It's nice.
Is it?
A lot of rich people live there.
Yeah. I think I did have a picture of his house, but I don't think I uploaded it. So here's nothing.
That's okay.
Long to get it. No, it won't take long to get it. I have every week I have folders for each cases.
Mm-hmm.
So that way I have all the pictures in one thing. So there we go.
I'm back. Go ahead.
That was his house in the suburbs of Mornington, which is where he got the name the Mornington Monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys seen the picture of him in the thumbnail with his wife Anna and daughter Gracie. That's them right there. If I missed anybody in the chat, I apologize. Claire's taking care of the chat so that I can concentrate because I will get distracted easy. I think I've said hello to everyone.
You have.
Okay, good. If anybody else new comes in, just let me know and I'll pause and say hi. So, this was a case from back in 2004, March to be exact.
Mm-hmm.
John was 38. His wife, Anna, was 41. They had an infant daughter, Gracie, who was 20 months old. John went to work for Commonwealth Bank, where he met Anna, and they were married within a year. And then after they were married, Anna actually told her mom, I think I've made a mistake.
100%. You're right.
Yeah, it was rocky from the beginning, but she stuck it out. She stayed. She said there was no passion or love, but she still stayed. And then they had a baby, Gracie.
Mm-hmm.
Gracie was born with some medical issues. She had hip dysplasia. She had a lot of surgeries and was on a lot of medications. And because she was in pain, she cried a lot and had a lot of difficulties sleeping, which as a mom, and well, as a parent, not just mom, but as a parent, you know that when your child doesn't sleep, it causes stress. You get
Oh yeah, because you don't sleep.
right, and you get overwhelmed, and you know, same with dads who care for their children. They, yeah, so
everyone's sleep deprived and a little bit on edge.
Yep. In January of 2004, I hope I'm not missing anything. John had already purchased a spear gun for fishing, is what he said. But he never had an interest in fishing. But he got one and said that that's why he got it. Then, God, I hope I'm not skipping a lot of stuff. I'm being Ing this time. I'm jumping ahead.
Can I throw something in? When he bought the spear gun, he paid cash.
Yes.
So it wasn't.
So it was under the radar.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, Claire, I know you have no guns in Australia. It's a weapon. How can someone buy a weapon with cash in January 2004? Just saying.
Because they're not intending on doing a shooting spree. Apparently, it's recreation.
Yeah, not every gun is for shooting other people either. Well, saying it's a weapon. It is a weapon.
Well, I mean, this country is a little bit backwards in right to bear arms and all that other stuff, but it's definitely abated massive shootings. So I don't want to get political on this comment or commentary about it, where you can't really have guns. But then if we're going to say, oh, well, you can't get a spearfishing thing, well, then you can't buy a knife, then you can't buy this. Like, then it's just going to go nuts. Like, that's too much over the top.
Right.
Yeah, but a spearfishing gun is different to a knife. I'm just saying.
They're still weapons.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know that Italian stilettos are illegal in North America? Just say, go ahead. Sorry.
This isn't the debate about weapons and what countries allow them.
Not yet.
No, it's not.
That's a good point. It is a weapon. Yeah, it's pretty. As we'll find out, it's pretty severe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, in November 2003, Anna became pregnant with her second child. John was furious. He did not want another kid. He wouldn't even go to her doctor appointments when she had her ultrasound to find out the gender of the baby. He was not there, and she also expressed to the nurse at the clinic how upset she was over him being so upset about the pregnancy. That plays a big role later down the line here. So, John said that Gracie was enough of a burden on him, I guess because of all of her medical issues and things such as that. And keep in mind, Gracie's 20 months. Yeah. Okay. That was in November. So March 21st, which was a Monday, they went to a family picnic to celebrate a nephew's birthday. John appeared to be the doting husband, acted like nothing was wrong. I guess he pretended he was happy about the pregnancy and nothing was bothering him. The next morning, Anna took Gracie to nursery and then made plans to meet up with one of her friends during the week. The following day, she called her healthcare provider and asked to add the baby to her healthcare coverage. Tuesday night, Anna went to bed as usual. Nothing out of the ordinary. They, of course, they had argued because of the pregnancy, and they were kind of standoffish with each other. Didn't really want to talk about much because he was not happy about the baby. Anna went to bed, and he got back up. John got back up and went to the garage and got his spear gun. Have I missed anything before I go any further, guys? That you guys need to add?
Nope.
No. I just working in private healthcare. I find it just a little point. I'm not like you can't add a baby on your healthcare till you give birth to the baby. Maybe that was the phone call she was doing, but that's that's just a little point that I'm just like.
Actually, yeah, that's actually a good point, though. Yeah.
Well, I think maybe she was calling to find out how to do it.
How? Yeah, I thought about that after the fact. But
Yeah.
I'm just like,
she was
no,
calling
you've
it.
covered it all. Yep.
But she
Okay.
was in distress. That should
Yeah.
be noted at this point already.
Yeah, there was already stress in the marriage, So John went to the garage and he got the spear gun. He came back in and he shot Anna through her left temple. He stood over her while she was asleep and he shot her in the left temple.
Can we all just take a moment?
Okay.
That is insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Just
It is.
casually just went and got the spear gun.
Yep. But remember, he's been planning this since January. That's why he bought the spear gun.
Yeah, in another thing, on research I did about this, it said he actually bought it in 2003, but I think they got the year wrong.
Yeah, I think they probably did because it says January.
Yep.
Yes, it is crazy take. So.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, I looked at the chat. See, I told you I get distracted when I look at the chat.
I've got it covered. It's all right.
Okay. So he shot her in the left temple. She did not die, so he shot her again. Then he covers her body with a blanket, and he went downstairs to sleep on the couch. Just decided, okay, I'm going to bed now.
I'll just leave the body
Yeah,
upstairs.
I'm just going to leave it here and cover it up with towels and blankets and go to bed.
Gets worse though, doesn't it?
It gets a lot worse. So the next morning, John took Gracie to nursery, and he told them this is going to be her last day because Anna had left him for another man.
And she was coming back to get Gracie.
She was going to come back to get Gracie. So that would be her last day. At this point, he already knew he would have to make Gracie disappear in order to solidify his lies. So his mind was already turning. After he dropped Gracie off, he went back home and removed the spears from Anna, but they were lodged into her skull, so he couldn't get them out.
Yeah, did he only get the shafts out?
Yeah, the spearheads themselves were lodged in her skull.
Yeah.
So he went back to the same sporting store where he bought the spear gun.
He took Gracie.
Yeah, and he bought a couple of more spearheads, and he took Gracie with him. He went back home. He buried Anna in their garden. He just wrapped her up in a tarp. No, he didn't have a tarp at this time, but he just threw her in the hole and put
shallow
dirt
grave.
Over. Yeah, shallow grave and put dirt over her. So then that night, John puts Gracie to bed. He's downstairs drinking a lot of whiskey, getting up his courage to do the unthinkable.
Yep.
He goes up to Gracie's room, spear gun in hand. He aimed it at her head and he shot. The spear lodged in her skull but did not penetrate deep enough to kill her. He shot again. She still was crying and screaming, so he shot her again. He rushed downstairs and retrieved more spears and shot her one more time till she finally stopped moving. Well, after the third one, sorry, he violently pulled one of the spears out of her head.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah, he pulled it
And
out of her head
reused it.
and reused it because the three didn't kill her before, so he had to use that to shoot her again.
What a fucking monster. Sorry.
Yeah. So, and then he wrapped her body in a tarp in a trash bag, put her in a trash bag, wrapped it in a tarp, and then put duct tape around it and put it in his trunk. Drove it to the dump.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
don't jump ahead, Chrissy.
I'm not.
Do you know where he got the blue tarps and the
Bunnings.
duct tape from?
Bunnings
Warehouse. Killer's Warehouse.
Yeah.
Oh my
Walmart.
God.
Walmart.
It's
No?
like
It's like Walmart.
it's Bunnings Warehouse. It's like a Walmart. Yeah.
Why you can tell he's planning it. He
Yeah.
actually planned to have the kid killed after because, bringing her to school the next day, he had actually a point saying, "Oh, the mom left." You can see he planned it all ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he takes.
But a lot of these murder cases we've covered, and we did the what was it? Oh, I can't remember the martial arts one, Chrissy. But what was it? Matthew Levison, the one we did. The murderer went to Bunnings Warehouse as well to buy their tools.
Yes.
Well, Bunnings is big in Australia.
That's why I'm calling it Murderer's Warehouse.
Mhm.
That's where they get all their murdering tools.
Any man buying blue tarp should be on a list. Just saying.
Right. All right, Chrissy, sorry, go.
Blue tarp and duct tape. You're put on a watch list.
Amen.
Yeah. So, all right. So he bound it with duct tape, took her to the dump and dumped it off. Came back home. He dug up Anna's body, and with the chainsaw that he bought at Bunnings Warehouse, he cut her body in 3 different sections.
Does that make noise? When you look at this house, it's in the middle of a neighborhood.
Right, it's on a corner. Oh my God. It's on an intersection.
But it's a chainsaw. It's not like it's an out of the ordinary tool. People use chainsaws all the time.
I guess so.
Yeah. I mean, if I hear a lawnmower or a chainsaw, I don't look out there to see if they're cutting up a body.
It's not that common. He had to buy one, Chrissy. Just saying.
Because he didn't have one doesn't mean the neighborhood don't.
No, but I know when my neighbor does something wrong.
It is a little bit suburban. I doubt he was cutting down trees. He could have been trimming trees, I suppose. I don't know the time frame of when he did this.
It's easier to say after the fact, but I get it.
If he did it in darkness, that's
it was in the daytime that he did it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that uncommon, but anyway, so he dismembers her body and puts it in a tarp that he bought, and he placed her in the trunk of his car and drove her also to the dump where he dropped her off.
Which we call the tip.
Yeah,
the tip. Mm-hmm. Which is weird, but that's what we call it, the tip.
Yeah. It was actually called Rockley Stone Tip. Which is
it's just like a landfill site where all the rubbish goes. The council bins, your household waste, everything goes there.
Well, I forgot to also mention that when he wrapped Gracie up, he also put some of Gracie's clothes and toys with her.
Yes. Yep. Yes.
And dumped that with her too, I guess, to make it look like some of her things were missing. So, hey, Anna must have taken them. And then in Anna's tarp, he put the spear gun and all the spearheads and stuff. And that went to the dump with Anna. So,
meanwhile, though, I don't know if you're about to get to this. I'm jumping ahead and I'm taking your role.
How dare you?
I do it.
Go ahead. I love you, Claire.
I dare. Love you too. He had bags of stuff, Chrissy. Are you about to get to that? That he hid? Okay. He didn't put everything in the dump. He thought he was smart. And he put some of her personal belongings in a bag that didn't go to the tip. Do you know what I mean?
No,
I didn't see that.
Oh, the credit card, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the credit card and the phone.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, well, because he had to make it seem like she actually was left, so he needed those items into a different city.
Yes. There was more
But
than just the credit
yeah,
card, and but yeah.
yeah, it was her ID, credit card, and phone.
Driver's license. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So for 3 months, he kept the lie up. He actually, look, I'm skipping. I don't even have pictures up. There's Gracie and Anna.
Look at her.
Isn't she precious?
Hmm.
Okay, so for 3 months, he kept these lies up and he would go on TV and beg for information regarding the whereabouts of Anna and Gracie. He begged them to come home. This is, I think, his father
Yes.
holding the picture of Gracie.
Yeah,
And
that's his
that's it.
dad.
Yeah. But he would make statements to reporters like, anyone that knows me knows I gave 100% for my daughter and my marriage. Mm-hmm. So,
Oh, 100%. I
yeah,
don't like his
100%.
100%.
Mm-mm.
It was deadly.
Right. But then, in an attempt to keep his charade going, he retrieved the bag with the IDs and the phone, and he used Anna's ATM card in another city, Chelsea. I don't know how far away that is,
Mm-hmm.
but and then made phone calls from her phone. He also would email Anna's mother pretending to be Anna. He
Yep.
said, "Please respect and understand my wish for privacy and take comfort in the fact that I'm about to enjoy life like never before." So,
As Anna.
as Anna,
Yeah.
that's what he would send to her family. But eventually, these lies crumbled around him. So, and this is the part where it gets iffy and things like that. So,
This is the part where her mum steps up
yes,
the game.
exactly. Her mother was talking to her priest
In New Zealand.
in New Zealand, I might add,
Yep.
when John had called her and said, Anna picked up Gracie and they're gone. And she's pregnant with another man, blah, 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 another man's child. And Lily, who is Anna's mother, says, "We don't do that." Meaning, that's not the type of people they are. She wouldn't have an affair. She wouldn't, blah, blah, blah.
Very
So,
Catholic. Very
right.
Catholic
So she
upbringing.
consults
Yeah.
the priest who is Catholic, and they're all thinking this is just doesn't sound like Anna. So the priest asks Lily, "Is it okay if I go to the police about this?" Lily, of course, says, "Yes, go." So he goes to the New Zealand detective,
Mm-hmm.
tells him what he knows, and the New Zealand detective had no reason to think that this wasn't what really happened, that Anna was ashamed because she was a Catholic girl and did not want to face the fact that, she's having another man's baby and things like that. So he didn't really have suspicion. He was just like, well, this sort of things happen. But he told the priest that he would, investigate and look into it, things like that. And then the priest,
Investigate.
yeah,
Shout
investigate.
out to Casper side.
The priest told him that John had said that she left in a taxi. So the detective says, "Okay, well, let's check that story out." So he gets the number for every taxi cab company in Mornington and around Victoria or Melbourne, sorry. And he calls them all, and none of them did a pickup at that address. So then he started getting a lot more suspicious. He made attempts over and over again to reach out to John, and John would never answer his calls. So when he figured out that there was no taxi, he put together a file of everything that he knows, and he sent it to an Australian investigator and a detective there. That detective immediately goes to John. You start with the person. You interview the person. They brought him in. They interviewed him. He stuck to his story about her having another man's baby, and she up and left and came back after Gracie and blah, blah, blah. He didn't know where they were. So they had nothing. But as time went on, they were watching him. This is where they started, something just didn't seem right. Between that interview and the he was doing on TV, they were analyzing his every move, his eyes, his facial expressions.
His
And
mannerisms.
they just knew something was wrong. So they started following him and
Didn't they also pick up that he was in a different demeanor when he gave a police interview and when he was with the press?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's our original Chris Watts.
Yeah.
He was Chris Watts before there was
Yeah, so the detective was comparing the two from the interview and the media coverage, and he just knew something was wrong. So they decided to tail him, surveil him, is what they wrote in these papers from Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And they watched him visiting what they call the toilet block. I guess it's public restrooms.
Yep, that's it.
And he went into the bushes and got this blue bag, which had her IDs, ATM, and cell phone in it. So they got him on that one. Then they found out that he also got rid of the mattress and purchased a new one.
Murdered on.
Yeah, 2 weeks after her disappearance.
Oh, she bled out on it. No wonder,
Right. They found several notes in John's handwriting disposed of in bins around Mornington, which, how do you do that? I mean,
this is a part of the case which I am impressed with.
Yeah, the notes contain details of his cover story and even backup stories. Would you just go to every trash can and dig through it around the? I mean, how did they get this? You know what I mean?
I reckon they had the inkling that he was sus, right? And he was doing these interviews and they were tailing him or surveilling him, whatever. But in that general vicinity, like in those suburbs, all your rubbish goes to one spot. So they've either, which I don't know, which it's embarrassing, I can't say specifically, jokes. I can't say specifically if they went to the bins or where the bins were dumped, which was probably the same tip.
Well, this is the upside of not recycling. Like if you have to,
right? And it wasn't big.
Everything goes in one bin, and that's
it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he drove 3 kilometers or miles away and did it, but
just
this guy hasn't got form. This is the thing. He's a first-time murderer that we know of, right? So he's not smart about what he's doing.
He got sloppy.
Yep.
So then they decided they were going to search the house. They turned up the receipt for the tarps, the chainsaw, and the duct tape from Bunnings. But the smoking gun was the investigators found blood belonging to Anna and Grace in the house. So he obviously didn't clean very well neither.
Hey, can I just say something?
Mm-hmm.
I'm jumping backwards, not forwards.
Okay.
Do you remember how the day after he murdered Anna, the guy came to do the aerial?
The TV. Yeah, the TV.
Yeah, the antenna.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that was a bit of a red herring, and it's funny in psychology, memory can be very false. So the antenna guy reckoned he saw another guy in the house.
An older guy. And when you look at the father holding up the picture right next to him, you wonder who that older guy was.
Yeah, exactly. Was it his dad? Was his dad in on it? But at the same time, false memory is a big phenomenon.
I mean,
but he got rid of him.
Yeah, if that's true, the father, if anything, wasn't in on it from the start. He probably was trying to protect his son.
Came to clean up.
Cover it up. Yeah, and came to clean up the mess.
And there's another Chris Watts connection in that regard too, because when he finally admitted to what he did, his dad was there with him, his father. And his dad's like, you did what, son? He's like, yeah, I did it. Interesting to reflect on it, but
So they arrested him and took him into the station for questioning.
June 22nd, 2004.
Yes.
He was arrested. Yeah.
3 months later.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of their interview, they let him know that he was being charged with 2 counts of murder. And during the interview, I'm going to point out that he still lied. He wasn't going to confess to anything. But then finally, I don't know what broke him, but he finally confessed to doing it and told them the entire gruesome story of how. So that's, yeah.
And apparently, some of the things that I've researched, the police officers watching him talk about it, he was just so deadpan, matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
He had no emotion.
Yeah, they asked him why Gracie, and he said the child belongs with her mother.
Exactly.
That's something. That's a red flag all over the place.
Yep. But then he tells them, and he says that Anna was controlling and moody. Said they were in a loveless and unhappy marriage, and it seemed as though John felt emasculated by Anna's strong personality. But yeah.
Yeah, well, he wasn't an alpha type, just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? He was what in a family of 5? What was his siblings?
He had 3 older sisters and a younger brother. So.
Yeah. And he wasn't effervescent and whatever.
Yeah. This is a picture of the canine sniffing
backyard.
In the yard.
Mm-hmm.
Where there
Love
was
the German
still
Shepherds.
obviously some blood and stuff. Here is him being arrested and carted off. Now, the police knew where he took the bodies. However, it took them 3 weeks of searching because the one dump that he took the bodies to, they take all of their stuff to another landfill site.
Yeah.
So they had their work cut out for them. It took them 3 weeks. They had tons and tons of volunteers helping, police officer volunteers helping search the site. This is a pretty grainy picture, but that's part of the landfill where they were at. It took them 3 weeks for them to finally find their bodies. They finally found all pieces of Anna's, and they found little Gracie.
And they stayed with the baby's body.
Yep.
Till the coroner got there.
Yep. The one guy was talking about how he carried the body to the car.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just heartbreaking. So
it is.
Now, nobody really knows the exact reasonings for him doing this, but his family, and Claire and I talked about this beforehand, his family threw out some speculations. This is what I read in one of the newspaper articles that I was reading on this. It said that some of the relatives believe that the reason he did it was because he may have been caught molesting Gracie, and killing Anna would prevent her from telling anyone. The family stated that John had a history of sexual abuse. He had molested young members of his circle of family and friends 2 decades before. One girl was molested by John for 2 years and even forced another child to molest her while he watched. The same girl confronted John as an adult. He told her she was a slut who deserved it. Now, there's no police reports. He was never charged. That's just what the relatives were speculating and what they were thinking and why he done this.
It's always worse than people make it. This is worse than we know.
Yeah.
I would say.
And that means if it was 2 decades earlier, he would have been 17. That's quite a young...
But didn't we have the same problem last week? That after the fact, people found out that the guy had a rap sheet of being sexual inappropriate, so to say.
Well, I don't know, but he didn't have a rap
last
sheet,
week. It came out after the fact that he had history.
No, I'm talking about John. He didn't have a rap sheet.
Oh, he did. No, but it was the police didn't know about it. His family knew.
Yeah, that's what I mean by a rap sheet. A rap sheet is a record. He didn't have one.
He didn't have one. The guy last week did.
Mhm.
But even the family came forward and said, listen, there might be something off
Yeah.
after the fact, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, so after pleading guilty to both murders, he was sentenced to 2 life sentences. He is in protective custody due to the several threats on his life by fellow prisoners. He's not eligible for parole until after 33 years.
So March 2004, and he got sentenced on August 2005. Yeah.
The 33. Yeah.
2038.
Yeah, he'll be in there quite some time. And I wanted to show this just because I thought it was special. It says, in loving memory of Anna Maria Kemp, 1962 to 2004, and her precious daughter, Gracie Louise, 2002 to 2004, and her unborn son, Francis.
And they used her maiden name, Kemp. Now I know
Yeah, they
he's
did.
Catholic. Kemp is a German name.
No, they were from
Yeah,
New
they didn't
Zealand.
want they didn't want anything
Not New Zealand.
reference to the Sharpe family.
Yeah, they didn't.
No.
Good for them.
But I thought it was a nice gesture to put the unborn son Francis. So obviously she was carrying a little boy. And nowhere I found on there that told us, how far along she was or anything like that, which I guess,
Well, they knew it was a boy.
But
they knew it was a boy. So that's a certain amount of time you need to know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't get it why they didn't involve that. Like, he was not convicted for the death of an unborn child.
I'm assuming back in 2004 they didn't do that. I don't know. Nowadays you will be.
Yeah, I think so too.
But also he's serving 2 life sentences.
Yeah.
So a third. But it would be
the third.
It won't help anyone, but just to acknowledge.
Yeah.
For the third life.
Yeah, and I showed the spear gun. So.
And just a final note on that. So this all happened in 2004, 2005.
Mm-hmm.
And then in February, the house that they had in Prince Street, Mornington, was advertised for sale, described as a charming seaside dream home.
Yeah, dream home.
Dream home. I don't know anything other than that.
A nightmare is a dream, technically.
Well, yeah, right? It's still a dream, right?
Yes, it is.
Oh, gosh.
Look at his face here. Look at this picture.
I want to know how bad those officers felt to actually have to take a ride with him.
I'm sure they wanted to.
But now it's light. It's dark when you drive through the night. Mm-hmm. And they would say, hey, what are you going to do with him? But
right. The expression on his face is just not there.
No, he knows what he did.
She was so cute, though, Gracie.
Yeah, for all the little medical issues and everything she had, she was a cutie patootie. Yeah, and I find it really hard to believe. Now we've covered everything. I just it's a little bit like Chris Watts with the I didn't want to have a second child. What? There's more ways to manage that situation.
Yeah.
Than with the spear gun.
Yeah, get the divorce.
Right?
That's what they told Chris Watts, and that's true. Yeah. What's the point?
Yeah, but it's pretty tragic.
Yes, it is. It's sad. So, do you guys have anything else to add to this? Does anybody in the chat have any questions about this?
Yeah, we don't want to bring everyone down, but hey, Chris Watts didn't come original.
No, when we look at it right now, actually, Chris Watts was the John Sharpe of the US, not
right.
John Sharpe was the Chris Watts of Australia. Yes.
I can't even
think-
remember the guy from last week. He was Chris Watts of Canada.
Yeah.
And now we've got the Australian Chris Watts.
You know what? Commonwealth, I blame the Queen because she's
Yeah,
not
Lizzie's got a lot
guilty,
to answer for.
but she's not guilty but responsible. And every
she's got a
time when
lot
I
to
go in a city hall here in British Columbia to pay my parking tickets and speed tickets, there hangs the picture of her right in the middle of the room.
Oh, I want to talk about the parking and speeding tickets now.
Well,
Ian.
no, I'm just saying. No, that's when I see her. When I go into a city hall, I see the Queen, and same thing in Australia. Something has to be done, Claire. You have to get together and make the world a better place.
Yeah.
No, I'm just when kids are involved. To me, that's always the most.
Yeah, and I'm just going to
Yeah.
say all credit to Chrissy for wanting to discuss this case, because
Yes.
I know it's hard when there's a baby deceased.
No, not talking about it is even worse. It happened. It should be brought out so we can look at it. We see what happened. It's the best way to deal with it.
You know, it's those quiet ones that fly under the radar that end up being the biggest threat, which is you can talk about all of that in retrospect.
Yeah.
But
And it's always easy to look at it after the fact, I know. But there are red flags out there. And
right?
maybe you have to learn.
Yeah.
All right, I'm leaving it to you two. I'll be right back.
Okay. I was trying to figure out which one Robert Leeming was the one she's talking about from last week.
Oh, last week, yes.
Yeah,
but they
right.
weren't married, even though it was his girlfriend. In a way, she was a roommate. But, when you look at it, especially dealing with the police, including Chris, all three of them came from different backgrounds. But when dealing with it after, they all showed the same kind of, I don't know, the way they behaved, Yeah.
Pete, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. He said, what are the appellate rules in that country? Was anything offered regarding mental capacity, or is he just doing his time? I didn't read anything about his mental capacity at all, only that he's in jail for life, 2 life sentences.
And the way he planned everything and the way he executed it shows that he knew what he was doing,
Yeah, he was definitely competent.
Yes. Just because you do something wrong doesn't mean, it's because
yeah, he
you're
actually
dumb.
told the police, I've been, planning this since January, so, right?
Yeah, well, he bought that spear gun 2 months before.
It
Or 3 months.
it said that he's been planning it since January.
And when he ran out of spears, he bought another one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He had to, after he got done killing Anna, he had to go back to the sports store to get more for his next one.
Yeah, he kills his wife, and next day brings his daughter to school and says, it's her final day. It's all planned. It's laid out. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think anyone could have stopped it.
Yeah.
Well, that's another Chris Watts connection, because he took the kids out of school. He said,
Yes.
they won't be coming back. Oh,
And put the house up. He put the house up for sale. Yeah.
Yeah. And he rang and said, they won't be coming back.
I already addressed that comment.
Oh, you did? Sorry.
That's why
I'll let it go.
Yeah. That's why I took it off the screen.
Oh, I don't think he had a mental health issue anyway. What did you say in relation to that?
No, not at all, because like I said, he's been planning it since January.
Yeah.
He knew what he was
Everything he did was calculated. He knew, yes. And he knew what he was doing. He didn't react to anything because he started it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good point.
And saw it through all the way.
And for his trigger being her pregnancy is just.
Isn't that the most bullshit excuse?
Yeah, I mean, how can that actually cause you to want to kill someone?
Yeah.
But that's just the thing. I think Chris Watts like his wife being pregnant with a third child, that set him off. He said, "Oh shit, what am I gonna do now?" And that's why even though it's different backgrounds and different upbringings, when you look at the murderers, when it comes down to it, they all look the same. Even last week, the Canadian one. What was his name again?
Robert Leeming.
Leeming. Yeah. Once it happened, they all behaved the same.
Mm-hmm.
Pete says he only mentioned it because of what Ian said about the past sexual abuse. So, yeah. The supposed sexual abuse.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't sexually abused.
No, that he did on other people.
Yes.
Yeah, the alleged.
Alleged, that's the word.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So-
I don't know what we're going to do next week. Can we leave Australia alone? I think we should do Florida.
I'm not done with Canada, to be honest. But
Oh, really?
Listen, no, you know what? Next week we won't. In 2 weeks, if I may bring a case. I have one, but I'm not ready.
Well, you don't have to be ready. I do. So you need to tell me in private.
Amen, man. Amen, man. Amen.
So
You know what we should do is just like get a map and just put a pin on it and go, Finland, what's the most murderous case in Finland? Or
They all
something
freeze
that
to
doesn't
death.
relate to any of us.
They freeze to death and no one knows whose fault it was. Listen.
Yeah. True.
Nah, I have 2 cases I like, but I haven't narrowed it down. So next week we do something different. Yeah, yes, Canadian.
Oh, okay.
well, next week I'll try to find one that's Merc.
Floridian.
With less dead people. No, it's just every murder is worth looking into and feel bad for the people.
Actually, you know, the one thing I didn't check on this when we were doing our research is like, how many murderers have used a spear gun? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, right.
It's a bit weird.
I don't think I've seen any.
Right? I'm just like, I don't know. I can't put my head in the space of a murderer, but, you know, there's knives. We've covered knives and we've covered gunshots, string, but a spear gun? It's, yeah.
And I'm a man.
Are you? How dare you? How dare you?
Indeed, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. But men and women have different dynamics, especially when it's parents. I would die for my children right away. However, my wife would kill for her children. You know, it's a different dynamic men and women have. I don't know what it is.
So your point is you would die defending, but she would just straight out murder.
No, listen, I would kill for my kids too. But like my feeling of it, like I will die for my children whenever I have. My wife wouldn't even go that far. She would kill for her children. That's the difference between, when it comes to parents, between a mom and a father. But that's just me.
I get that.
Yeah. All right, so there you have it, guys. Sharpe family murders. Mornington
He was a
Monster.
bad father.
Sharpe. There's really nothing else we can say about it. He's in prison for life, being kept away from all the other prisoners because of threats on his life. They should just let him go into general population and let them take care of him.
You know, because you know what? He actually would deserve it, but it would be over too early. He should probably suffer more. But here's the thing. Do you know how many of those in jail with him think, I'm here for much more less? You know, so that's why they hate him so much.
You know, I get in two minds, and you guys probably won't like me about this, but why feed him? Why house him? Put him in general pop, see what happens. That's one less mouth you got to feed, honestly. But then that goes down to that life for a life type situation.
Eye for an eye.
Eye for an eye, that sort of thing.
He wouldn't have enough eyes to make up for that, Chrissy.
Oh, no. Oh, well. All right. Well, thank you guys, everyone who did participate and come into chat. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Thank you for being here. And as always, Claire, thank you for co-hosting with me.
My pleasure. It's always good. Thank you, Ing. Yeah,
Thank
they'll
you,
get it
Carol.
eventually.
Do we have an after show?
If you guys want, we can start one.
All right.
Yay, yay.
Hey,
We can make it a little bit lighter. Like what
Listen,
time? Oh, yeah.
Can I say one thing? There's a shout out to Pete Nice. His daughter's with him because she's a fan of Chrissy's. And she's the only reason I didn't use the F word today because she
I
is
did.
a minor.
Oh.
You did?
I used
Oh,
it.
she's listening, Pete? Tell her I said hello. Hi.
Yes,
Well,
say
that's
hi
nice.
to
My
Pete
Grogu
Nice
twin.
daughter.
She's
Yes.
my Grogu twin.
She is.
She likes
Aw.
Grogu.
So that's why Claire is the bad mouth.
I didn't know she was listening. I would have
Yeah, didn't even hear
changed a
it,
few
Claire.
things up too.
Yes.
Yeah, I only used it once, Frank. Oh, sorry, Ing. Holy shit.
Frank is the only brother I have left on this platform.
That's a bad name.
I know. I can live with it, Chrissy.
So, yay or nay on the after show? Do you guys want to start another stream or no?
Yeah, I'm around.
Claire started up. Or do you want to do
I
it?
could do it. I could try.
I can
go.
do it.
Oh,
Okay,
Chrissy
then
can
I
do
we'll-
it.
just need to know if I need to end. If we're going to end this one, I'll start.
I
another.
have never streamed in my life. You better get someone of you to do it. Just
Ing, we're gonna hold your hand gently and take you there one day.
Thank you very much.
You
Yeah, I'm
too can live stream. If I can do it, and it's a travesty on the internet, you can do it.
Let me tell you, I think I could, but I don't want to because I'm only here to be entertained. I'm not streaming myself. I have people to do that for me. Other than that, I'm fine. Thank you for asking, Chrissy. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Mornington Monster. I'm ignoring you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No, that makes me frank.
Stop it.
Okay, I stop it. I meant it.
That was a bad slip of the tongue. I'm sorry. All right. Hey, there's our Ingy.
Is it going to let me? Yes, it did. All right, I'm ending this one. Go to the new one. You guys look on
All
the
right. Thanks,
channel.
everybody, for being here. Thanks for supporting
Thank
me.
you.
Claire, you should see the new broadcast in the StreamYard, and Ing, I will send you the link.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, see you guys in a little
Peace
bit.
out, everyone.
She asked me for money for our curse jar because of your curses. Oh.
Uh-oh. Sorry,
Okay.
Pete.
All right,
I'll give you
see
money.
soon.
Bye.